Toyota recalling more than 120,000 Toyota and Lexus vehicles over a potential engine failure issue.
Toyota owners bought these trucks expecting 300,000 miles. Instead, some are getting engine replacements before 40,000 miles. One owner was quoted $30,000 out of pocket for a repair. Another was told by her dealership to carry a portable jump pack in a brand new truck. And right now, Toyota engineers are being forced to hand over internal documents in an active federal lawsuit. This is what's happening to the new Toyota trucks, and what it could cost you if nobody tells you before you sign. The engine Toyota never should have built. For 15 years, the Tundra ran on a 5.7-liter V8. Owners were regularly hitting 300,000 miles with nothing more than basic oil changes. Forums were full of guys bragging that they'd never turned a wrench on it. That engine wasn't the most powerful in class, but it was absolutely bulletproof. And it was the entire foundation of Toyota's truck reputation. Then for 2022, Toyota pulled it. Gone. In its place came the V35A, a brand new 3.4-liter twin turbocharged V6. More power on paper, better fuel economy numbers on paper. Toyota called it the future of the full-size truck. Dealers ran with that story, and buyers, trusting decades of Toyota reliability, paid serious money for it. Sticker prices ranged from $40,000 at the base trim all the way past $80,000 on loaded platinum and $1,794 edition models. People traded in perfectly good trucks for this. People signed 5- and 6-year loans for this. Because it's a Toyota, then the engine started dying. Within months of the 2022 Tundra hitting streets, NHTSA complaint logs began filling up. Engine knock, rough idle, sudden stalls at highway speed with no warning at all. One owner from Illinois documented his engine shutting off completely at speed. The dashboard lit up. Engine stopped. Please stop vehicle immediately. No error codes before it happened. No gradual warning. The truck simply died and had to be towed to the dealer. His service advisor told him Toyota's guidance was to rebuild the engine from scratch. Short block, turbos, heads, coolers. But that replacement engines weren't even available. He waited months, still making loan payments, on a truck sitting in a dealer bay, waiting for parts Toyota couldn't supply. By early 2026, the NHTSA database contained over 3,000 individual complaints specifically tied to V35A engine problems across 2022 through 2025 model year Tundras. 3,000 people who documented this, and those are only the ones who filed. Now run the money math. A 2023 Tundra loses roughly 36% of its value over 5 years. On a $65,000 truck, that's more than $23,000 in depreciation alone. Before you add a tow bill, a rental car, months of loan payments on a truck you can't drive, and potentially a $30,000 repair estimate if your engine fails after the warranty window closes. Toyota sold these buyers the future of the full-size truck. For a growing number of them, it became the most expensive mistake they ever made. But here's where it gets really uncomfortable, because when the people who actually tear engines apart for a living looked inside the V35A, what they found did not match what Toyota was telling the public. Toyota's explanation doesn't add up. Toyota's official story is clean and simple. During production of the V35A, machining debris, tiny metal particles left over from manufacturing, was not fully removed from inside the engine block. Over time, that debris contaminated the crankshaft main bearings. Under high load, the bearings failed. Engine gone. One-time manufacturing problem. Recall issued. Move on. Except this next part is documented on video, and it changes the entire story. An independent teardown specialist got his hands on a blown 2023 Tundra V35A with just 38,000 miles on it and live streamed the entire disassembly. When he lifted the bed plate and exposed the main bearings, 2 of the 4 were completely destroyed. One bearing cap had been friction welded to the block from heat buildup and had to be broken free with a chisel. The oil pan was packed with metal shavings, what he described as ghastly glitter. But here's the detail that stopped him cold. The rod bearings, which sit on the exact same oil circuit as the main bearings, were completely untouched, not a scratch. If contaminated oil were truly the cause, both sets of bearings should have taken equal damage. The oil flows to both, debris reaches both, targeting only the mains while leaving the rod bearings clean makes no mechanical sense under Toyota's explanation. He looked at the camera and said he did not believe Toyota's story whatsoever. He compared it directly to the Hyundai Theta engine scandal. scandal, where Hyundai also blamed debris, owners got replacement engines, and then those replacement engines failed too, because the real problem was never the debris, it was a design that couldn't survive real-world use. Other technicians flagged 2 more red flags. First, the V35A main bearings appear to lack anti-spin tabs, a basic feature on most modern engines that keeps bearings locked in position under load. Most engines built in the last 2 decades have them. The V35A apparently does not. Second, Toyota's factory oil specification is 0W20, an ultra-thin oil chosen for fuel economy ratings, not for durability under twin-turbo heat cycles and heavy tow loads. One mechanic on a towing forum called it like water. With a 10,000-mile service interval, that oil is carrying enormous stress by the end of its run. Whether this is a manufacturing problem or a fundamental design miscalculation, one thing is certain: Toyota admitted in official NHTSA filings that it still does not know how many of the engines currently on the road actually contain the defect. If your 2022 to 2024 Tundra feels fine today, Toyota cannot tell you whether it will still feel fine in 6 months. And then, as if 200,000 affected vehicles wasn't enough, the recall expanded again. The recall that won't stop growing. May 2024, Toyota issued NHTSA Recall 24V-381 covering 102,092 Tundras and Lexus LX 600 models. Full engine replacement at no cost. Problem identified, remedy in place. That was the official story. 6 months later, the recall expanded again. By late 2025, Toyota filed a second wave covering over 113,000 additional Tundras built through February 2024. Plus Lexus GX and LX models. Total affected vehicles well past 200,000. And buried in those federal filings, Toyota quietly acknowledged it was still developing the remedy. After 4 years, after 2 recalls, after more than 200,000 vehicles flagged, Toyota still does not have a confirmed permanent fix. Meanwhile, owners approved for engine replacements were being told to wait, sometimes for months, because replacement engines weren't available. These owners were still driving trucks that Toyota itself classified as a safety hazard because a sudden engine stall at highway speed, in Toyota's own language filed with the NHTSA, increases the risk of a crash. That is not our language. That is Toyota's language in federal documents. And here's the legal response building against all of it. Multiple law firms filed class action complaints in U.S. district courts starting as early as 2022. By 2026, that litigation entered active discovery, meaning Toyota engineers are now legally required to produce internal emails, test reports, and meeting records. Discovery is where corporate explanations get tested against actual documents. The class action also argues Toyota's recall is too narrow, that 2024 models and hybrid versions excluded from the recall have the same underlying problem, leaving thousands of owners without any remedy. Aggregated damages claimed already exceed $5 million. If you own one of these trucks and have documented dealer visits for engine issues that weren't resolved, a lemon law claim may move faster and pay more than waiting years for a class action settlement. In many states, if Toyota can't fix the problem after a reasonable number of attempts, they are legally required to buy the truck back at full purchase price. And in many of those states, they pay your attorney fees if you win. It costs nothing to find out if you qualify. Check your VIN at nhtsa.gov right now before this video ends. Quick pause. If this video is keeping you from making a $50,000 mistake, hit subscribe. Every week we cover the vehicles dealerships are counting on you not researching before you sign. It costs you nothing, but it might save you more money than almost any other decision you make this year. Now back to it. And this next story genuinely sounds made up. It isn't. The brand new truck that won't start. Her name is Lindsay. She bought a 2024 Toyota Tacoma TRD Sport. Brand new, 4th generation, Toyota's redesigned iForce Max hybrid powertrain. She had 3,500 miles on it when her truck wouldn't start. Not once, 3 times. In her first 6 months of ownership, when she brought it to the dealer, her service advisor did not offer a repair. He offered advice. He told her to buy a portable jump pack and keep it in the truck. In a brand new truck. She pushed back. He held firm, told her they could only fix what was broken, and nothing was broken, so she left. Her truck died again 2 weeks later at a gas station. Her husband drove out and jumped her. She got home. Next morning, the dashboard showed system malfunction. Visit your dealer. Lindsay is not alone. Across every major Tacoma owner forum, the pattern is identical. 12-volt batteries sitting at 50 to 60% charge, even after a full drive, trucks dying after sitting 4 or 5 days, and owners watching their voltage actually drop while driving. One 2024 limited iForce Max owner returned from 5 days of camping to find his truck completely dead. The hybrid system couldn't start it, the 12-volt couldn't start it, nothing. Stranded in a campground parking lot. The technical cause: Toyota replaced the traditional alternator in the iForce Max with a DC to DC converter from the hybrid system. On paper, more efficient. In practice, for a significant number of trucks, the converter simply cannot keep pace with the electrical demand, especially when the truck sits idle for several days. Some early 2024 models also left the factory with defective Panasonic 12-volt batteries. Batteries with bad cells that would not hold a charge from day one. A Toyota master technician confirmed this publicly, noting he was seeing multiple units come in that failed basic load testing straight from the factory. And here's the part that should genuinely bother you. For the 2025 model year, Toyota quietly added a traditional alternator back into certain Tacoma configurations. No recall, no press release, no acknowledgement that the 2024 design was inadequate, no retrofit offered to 2024 owners still living with the original setup. Toyota fixed the problem and said nothing to the people who bought the broken version. When a company silently upgrades a design flaw the following model year without addressing it for existing owners, they're making a choice. And it isn't a choice that benefits you. But wait, Toyota's quietest move during all of this wasn't even about the engine or the battery. It was something most truck buyers don't even know to look for. The problem Toyota hid in a bulletin. Most truck owners have never heard the term technical service bulletin, and Toyota is counting on that. Here's the difference that could cost you thousands. A recall is public. The NHTSA gets notified. Media covers it. Owners get letters in the mail. Dealers are legally required to fix the problem for free. A technical service bulletin, a TSB, is none of those things. It's a private communication from the manufacturer to its dealer network, acknowledging a known problem and providing a repair procedure. Owners don't get a letter. Dealers aren't required to disclose it. It only gets applied if your technician recognizes your symptoms and happens to pull the right bulletin. If your dealer doesn't bring it up, it doesn't happen. Toyota issued TSB-SB-0111-22 for the 2022 and 2023 Tundra, acknowledging hesitation from a dead stop that worsens in cold conditions, a transmission surge in 8th gear at partial throttle, and a range of drivability behaviors that owners on NHTSA complaint boards described as the truck hunting for gears, lunging forward without warning, and feeling unsafe in stop-and-go traffic. One owner from North Carolina documented a consistent 2-second delay between pressing the accelerator and getting any response, followed by the truck lurching violently forward. When he brought it in, the dealer confirmed it was a known failure, then told him there was no fix available at the time. For the 2024 Tacoma, a separate bulletin covers the new 8-speed automatic, delayed shifting, stored error codes, and gear slipping under load. Now think about this in a real-world context. You're pulling a trailer weighing 10,000 pounds on a steep grade. You need power that is immediate and predictable. You get a 2-second hesitation, then a surge. In a situation like that, an unpredictable transmission isn't inconvenient. It is genuinely dangerous. And Toyota's official response was a private bulletin, not a public recall. That is a company protecting its public image rather than its customers. When you walk into any Toyota dealership, you have every right to say, "Show me every open TSB on this VIN." They cannot legally withhold that. Don't wait for them to volunteer it. The testing scandal that ties it all together. In June 2024, Toyota's own chairman stood in front of cameras in Japan and apologized. Not for one bad model, not for one bad plant. He apologized for a testing scandal that an independent committee found stretched back over 30 years and touched more than 60 vehicle models. Here is what regulators uncovered. Toyota had used improper testing methods and in some cases manipulated test data. In government safety certification testing, the violations included falsified airbag deployment results, inaccurate crash test data, manipulated engine power figures, and incorrect rear seat damage testing in collisions. 3 vehicles were pulled from production while the investigation continued. Toyota's chairman stood at the podium and said the words no loyal Toyota owner ever expected to hear. "We sincerely apologize." The Tundra and Tacoma were not named in this specific certification case, and Toyota maintained the vehicles on the road remained safe. But that distinction distinction misses the actual point, and this is critical. An independent committee traced manipulation back to 1989, 35 years across 60+ models. That is not one department cutting corners once. That is an institutional pattern, and when you set that pattern next to a twin-turbo engine with over 3,000 NHTSA complaints and no confirmed permanent fix after 4 years, a hybrid battery design that was quietly corrected the following model year without a recall, a transmission problem handled with a private bulletin instead of a public notice, and a class action lawsuit currently forcing engineers to testify under oath, you are no longer looking at a bad year. You are looking at a company that has been protecting its reputation instead of earning it for a very long time. That reputation is real. Toyota built it over decades of genuine quality, but reputations can carry a company long after the quality that built them has started to slip. And right now, the people paying the price for that gap are the ones signing $60,000 and $70,000 and $80,000 truck loans based on a reputation that may no longer reflect what's actually inside these vehicles. Toyota was counting on you not connecting those dots. Toyota spent decades earning one of the most trusted names in the automotive industry, but reputations don't fix broken engines. They don't restart a hybrid truck dying in your driveway. They don't show up when you're on a highway shoulder waiting for a tow truck, still owing 4 years of payments on a vehicle you can no longer trust. If you own a 2022 through 2025 Tundra or a 2024 Tacoma, here is your action plan. Go to NHTSA.gov right now and run your VIN for open recalls. Walk into your dealership and ask specifically for every active TSB on your truck. They will not always volunteer that. If your engine or hybrid system has been in for the same issue more than once without a real resolution, speak to a lemon law attorney before your warranty expires. In many states, Toyota pays your legal fees if you win. It costs you nothing to find out if you qualify. Drop your experience in the comments. Whether this truck has been flawless or a nightmare, your story is real data that protects other buyers. One comment from you today could save someone else $30,000 tomorrow. And subscribe, because Toyota is not the only brand right now running out of ways to explain what's happening with its newest vehicles. In our next video, we're exposing the SUV brand quietly racking up more federal safety investigations than any other nameplate in its class, while almost no one is paying attention. That video might matter just as much as this one. Don't miss it.